this is, I think, what I would tell my 10-year-old. Just have the data in place.
Welcome to a new episode of the DefDevice podcast. Today I have Vadim with me here. Welcome, Vadim.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dana.
Yeah, we met on through email, I think, and we have a common friend called Ritu Java,
Yeah,
who happens to live like in your environment in Canada. Is that right?
yeah, she's actually, I don't want to say walking distance away from me, but it's definitely a car drive distance.
Oh, wow,
Maybe 20
wow.
minutes, very small world.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. She was on my
Yeah.
podcast as well. It was a really great pleasure to have her.
Mm,
But today it's all about Vadim and your business, of course. So let us know, what
mm.
are you doing these days?
I'm a one-man Amazon PPC agency. The reason, I call myself an agency also, I'm just one-man person is because I do everything for clients, helping them. It's mostly Amazon ads focused, but I'm like a growth partner, helping them just understanding the overall market, advising them what products to launch, just helping with the listing conversion, etc. So
Hmm.
it's a highly focused attention, mostly Amazon ads, but it's not limited to that. There is also some other stuff involved to make the ads work better.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not just PPC, it's also like a consultation and
Yeah,
kind of growth management for Amazon sellers.
exactly. Yeah. I
Yeah.
work very closely with my clients, like being just jumping a bit forward, being a seller myself in the past. I know that there is a lot more involved than just ads. So I always put myself in the client's shoe, and just not just focusing on like, hey, like showing this great numbers, this is ACOS, TACOS, just showing them the bigger picture. This is the next month's
Hmm.
focus. This is how much we can grow. This is
Hmm.
what we are going to do.
Cool. So, just curious, where do you see people or Amazon sellers are making the biggest mistakes with their PPC ads?
Uh, well, considering that everything nowadays is turning into AI, this whole trend of automating as much as you can with AI agents, make.com, N8N, just to name a few. The mistake people are making is basically, I think this is even a bigger issue nowadays. 'Cause there is so many tools nowadays, and I'm not saying any of them are like bad or irrelevant, but if you don't have the basics, you should not give all your advertising to a software, which which was some of my clients, to be honest, who have a tool that manages ads for them, and they're just kind of leaving it on a set and forget mode.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, yeah,
This
yeah.
this this is, I think, is yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think we should set and forget. Maybe there's some
Mm.
time in the future where AI can do everything, but I think at the moment we still have to monitor
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. So, PPC Jumpstart is the name of your agency.
Yeah.
And
Uh And the PPC Jumpstart, so the whole idea and why I called it Jumpstart is I typically go in an account and went and first of all, just to preface, I only prefer to take on accounts where I can like provide like explosive growth, just fast results. So the whole idea behind Jumpstart is, say you're driving a car and it's, stops working. So the idea of jump starting the car is you immediately get things to start working. This is the concept behind it. Someone hires me, I go in, and in the very first 30 days, I jump start things. Sales are improving, profit is improving, and the results are typically very fast. And that's that's basically my also slogan is we
Mhm.
jump start your ads, we do it very fast. There is
Mhm.
no waiting period. There are some people could be saying, okay, we need like weeks of data to
Mhm.
understand, what kind of keywords we target or campaigns to launch. But there is already so much data in place. Just with Amazon alone that you could really jumpstart things if you know how to use the data.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds interesting, and I honestly, I will consider to asking you to help us also with our Amazon clients because it sounds like a very interesting concept to jumpstart our PPC ads.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a different topic. So yeah, since we now know what you do basically, as you know, my podcast is all about entrepreneurs'
Hmm.
life journeys and
Yeah,
how people became the people they are today. So I already know that there is a bit of common backstory the both of us have, but
yeah.
bring us back to
Hmm.
10-year-old Vadim and tell
Yeah,
us what was happening in his life. Where was he
yeah.
living? What was he doing? And what were
Hmm.
his plans?
Yeah. Well, I don't have a typical like entrepreneur story. Like I had like a lemonade stand outside of my house. Sorry, a lemonade stand, and I was selling lemonades, and I decided to be entrepreneur. Yeah, I
Mhm.
was a pretty normal kid. I was trying to be an athlete. I was into swimming,
Mm,
so I was into competitive swimming, doing studying, and then when I was 18 years old, I had this idea in my mind. Okay, I want to study abroad, and my parents fully supported that idea. And I'm from Russia myself originally, and at that time. I think I was around 16 and I was like, studying to improve my English. And there is this exam called IELTS. I don't know if you heard about it,
mm.
but it's basically a system to examine whether people, are suitable to go to study to Canada or to US and then in any other countries. And I just remember like studying, doing these tests. And I remember a teacher telling me one day, like, he basically said, I don't think that you'll ever make it with your kind of English.
Wow.
Yeah, and then 10 years later, and I'm just not in Canada. I'm a citizen here,
Mm,
and so yeah, it's just something that stuck with me
mm,
to always push through. But yeah, so I was a normal kid, and I was basically planning to come to Canada to become an engineer. And actually, I studied as an engineer. I worked, in a lot of companies under engineers, wanting to become engineer. But then I had this like entrepreneurial itch, which I'm sure a lot of people around my age had. Like, given that social media and all of this, people, working remotely and traveling, and I thought, okay, why not? Like, I'm gonna like give this a go, right?
the 4-hour work week.
Yeah, the 4 hour work week is what sparked my interest. This the 4 hour work week idea. No, if I could only work 4 hours a week, make the same money as I do in my day job. Yeah, and there is so many like it's just that influence of people on Instagram, or we call them like gurus. Maybe some of them are not. So it seemed like at that time a lot of people my age already were already achieving what I wanted to achieve. So that really
Mm.
motivated me at that time. Um, and actually, I didn't start with Amazon. The popular trend back then was like the buying products from China, drop shipping. This was very popular trend back then, so of course I felt onto it. Like I felt onto the trend. I started a few brands, drop shipping products. I wouldn't say I was making a lot of money at the time. It was some income, but a lot of lessons learned. But not Amazon at the time. It was Facebook advertising, just setting up websites, having your own Shopify stores, branding your products. Basically, the basic skills to succeed in marketplaces. Um, My next, so this was, I would say it's like solid 3, 4 years, launching different stores. And then I found out about Amazon. And I was like, whoa, so you can just put your product online and people are just searching for it and you don't have to drive constant traffic. And then I'm like, okay, and then I'm gonna give this a very good, solid effort. So at that time, like I said, I'm an and as a kid, I'm an athlete. I was into swimming, so naturally, I'm very like physically motivated to like work out, etc. So I was very much into weightlifting, and then I thought, why not make a product around my passion, weightlifting? And being like in the market myself, I've always struggled to find a good pair of weightlifting gloves. There is just there is no quality that anyone would produce. It's just a cheap pair, sourced for a couple of dollars, and you constantly have to buy them. And then, yeah, this was my product. I found a few factories in Pakistan. I've gone through some samples, and I basically created one of the most expensive products in the market. And at that time, I thought it was a good idea, right? I was getting good reviews. I think I remember there were periods of like there were periods of times, and of course at that time I didn't know like anything much about Amazon, the ads, etc. So just figuring out, I remember like having like some days with like $400 in profit, and so
Hmm.
I thought to myself like this is like serious. So I need to like study this. So I was already back then, I was trying to become an Amazon expert with my own products.
Hmm.
So that worked until a certain point, launched a few more products in that same niche of weightlifting gear, CrossFit, more CrossFit related. And eventually the market just got so flooded with cheap uh, products that I got priced out.
Hmm.
And yeah, that was like one of the other lessons I learned, that what you have in mind, that perfect product, you know, that looks good on paper, sometimes it's just going to fail just because how expensive it is. No. And yeah, that was a definitely a lesson learned. And from that point on, I I've decided to be a master of Amazon advertising,
Hmm.
so that I could help other people sell on Amazon and not make the same costly mistakes as I did in the very beginning with Amazon ads. Yeah, and this is my story in a
Hmm.
nutshell.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Wow, it's yeah, I really like this story. It's fascinating, and we have a lot in common, man. I also started my Amazon brand, but if you if you start like a high value, uh, high price product, I would typically and it actually resonates with their passion. I would normally say, yeah, this is the way to go because we want
Hmm.
to sell something that is actually that we are passionate about, where we can build a community around it
Hmm.
and where people actually value what we do and we actually have a brand and we're not just the next cheaper guy selling the same stuff. But
Yeah.
it's a bit sad to hear that it didn't work out for you because yeah, I mean, of course, it doesn't always work out, and there are
Hmm.
many moving parts. And of
Yeah.
course, there's always the cheaper guy, and there's like 50 cheaper
Hmm.
guys these days. So it is a tough
Hmm.
situation to be in. And but yeah, I mean, I also admire your passion to just move on, and
Hmm.
to become the guy who helps other Amazon sellers. And it was a bit similar with me as well. I also have this kind
Hmm.
of story where I sold my Amazon business and I decided I want to help other sellers rather than start the next brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
it
it's it,
is.
mhm. Yeah, it's just a different line of work where
Mm.
with, starting your own brand, you're dealing with sourcing, inventory,
Mm.
etc. But when you work with clients, you're dealing with people.
Yeah. This is
Like,
also for me the one of the biggest differences. I mean, selling products to people I never see or never
you never
hear or
see.
never.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's yeah, it's yeah. The purpose of it was felt a bit low for me. So
Yeah.
I think we're also on the same page here, where we prefer
Hmm.
to actually work with humans
Yes. Yes.
and help them to grow their business.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hmm. And
Yeah, that was very interesting, Vadim.
yeah.
And of course, as I already announced, I will invite you to share your nuggets. I mean, you already did share quite a few nuggets of wisdom, but if there's anything you would like to say to 10-year-old Vadim today, please share it with us now.
Yeah. I would say like nowadays it's important to do a lot of research. I would say like don't be obsessive about it, but at the same time, have all the like have a very good understanding of your margins, have an understanding how much Amazon is going to charge you. You know, I have like two examples of my own friends who like back then also like they were doing Amazon, and they had also good product ideas, but when you look at their margins, you know, all of this like they're trying to make premium packaging, premium everything, they're just left with no margins. So it's important
Hmm. Hmm.
to get the margins right. And just to give some example, like you want to be at least like 30% margin after advertising. Like estimate the advertising cost. You know, there is data in place that can, you know, show you cost per click. Very rough, but still estimate the conversion rate. So this is, I think, what I would tell my 10-year-old. Just have the data in place.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
back,
he
yeah,
probably wouldn't get it, but yeah, I
yeah,
understand. It makes a lot of
yeah,
sense to
and
have your
some,
data in place and do your research properly and don't simply just, like jump into the rabbit hole without
yeah,
understanding the big picture. Yeah.
yeah. And I think back then I just didn't know what I didn't know. So,
Hmm.
and
Exactly.
all of this data would confuse me anyway. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, yeah, it's good advice, and I think it's definitely relevant to those who are listening to this podcast today to do your data research. And of course, we would also invite them to
hmm,
collaborate with Mr. Vadim on this topic. So I guess you could also help them before they invest in like launching their product
yeah,
and doing their
hmm,
packaging and doing all that stuff. So I think it's a really good idea to like go take
yeah,
a deep dive into this research and talk to an expert
hmm,
like yourself who
hmm,
have been there and who really understands the relevant data points.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Vadim.
Hmm.
It was a
You're
pleasure to
welcome.
have you here,
Hmm.
and
Thank you.
we will
Yeah.
make sure that people have everything they need to get in touch with you in the
Hmm.
description.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's stay in touch and see what else we can do together.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
My pleasure.
Thank you.